So let's start back on our hearing agenda. We have Eads Cultural Center and Public Library. That's 9670 project number. So welcome, Eads.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Like you said, we're here with the Eads Cultural Center and Public Library. If you notice on the marquee, we waited to take this picture because it was the movie Left Behind, because this project is
What did it say?
left behind.
No.
So that's probably enough jokes. So I'll introduce, this is Kim Alfano. She's the director of the Kiowa County Library District. Cindy McLeod, who is the director of Kiowa County Economic Development. I'm Justin McLeod. I am the Town of Eads trustee, and I'll hand it over to Betsy Barnett, who is the chairman or chairwoman for the Cultural Event Center.
Great.
Thank you. All right, so I'm kind of the instigator of this whole project. So this is the center that we're talking about, and the whole idea is it is going to be a cultural center when it's finished. All of these buildings are owned by the town, and it started in 2006 when some kids got together. We worked with the schools, and they came up with this concept, talked the commissioners, the town, everybody, the leadership of the community, into getting these buildings going, because every single one of them were empty. And you'll see in a minute these two to the left, and these are the ones we're talking about for this project. The roofs had fallen in, and most people said just tear them down. But this is all a block right on our downtown. It's like the anchor right now of the community. Across this, and I'll show you a map here in a minute, but the theater part is completed now. So DOLA helped tremendously with that, as other funders did too, but the theater part is done. It's been running, and it's operated by Crow Luther Cultural Event Center, my nonprofit, or the nonprofit's not mine, but I'm the chairman. And then now this side over here, we have tried for many, many years to get it going, and we just haven't been able to lift it off the ground. Right before the pandemic, we had it. We had hired an architect. We paid him upwards around $50,000. So he's done a lot of work on the interior. So it looks like it's done on the outside, which it is. It's all done there. It's the inside that needs finished. Once we're finished there, then we will, we want to bring the library into that. So we're partnering with the library and the town of Eads and the Crow Luther Cultural Center and put it all together as one big cultural center. So those pictures to the right, there's two buildings that we're talking about. We call them sisters because they're identical basically. And they, when we got a hold of them, or when the town got a hold of them, that's what they look like. The interiors, the roofs had started falling in. We took over the project, asbestos, all that jazz. We've dealt with all that through the years. Okay. So now what it looks like inside is, so we're talking about these two buildings. This is what it looks like inside. No floors, no HVAC, plumbing. That's what we're asking for the money for, is to get these spaces going and connected. So these are two separate spaces right now, but they're right by each other. They share a common wall, and the plans would call for them to be opened in two sections, so they would be one big space for a library. All right, so I basically went over the scope of work. I don't think there's anything else there. You can ask if basically just turn it into the library space. And it really is the plans we started with before the pandemic. It's exactly what we were going to do, but then everything fell apart after the pandemic. So we did go ahead and partner with the library, because the library had their own issues. So the library, Kim is our director, they have been in the basement of the courthouse since 1959, when the courthouse was built. There's a rickety old elevator that doesn't work half the time. So people, the handicapped people, mothers with strollers, lots of people, I wouldn't get in there. They can't access the library right now. It's just not accessible for them. And in addition, they're in a tiny, as you can see, tiny space, low ceilings. They're just handicapped. They just can't really get to be what they want to be, the 21st century type model for everybody. Everybody can't go there. That is for sure a fact. So they have worked really hard on getting it to be something, but they need space. So this is, this is the downtown of Eads. And what we're talking about are those that building, it's just that one right there. Those are the two buildings together, they're the sisters. And those are connected to the theater, which is the big long building. And the theater is running. We do children's theater there, we do movies there, we work with Sand Creek there. Sand Creek is right across the street from us. That's the educational center for the Sand Creek Massacre site. So they work with the theater right now, and they are dying to work with, have the library there too. Also, in addition, there's a museum. Our local museum is right there. So it's like kind of a trifecta of a lot of history that we can do right there. Also, if you'll go just to the back of that lot right there, the town of Eads is working, and they've already contracted to build a swimming pool there. So there'll be a swimming pool there, the downtown walking area, and then the courthouse is that treed area over there. If they move the library out of the courthouse basement, then they'll use that because they need space too. They've been all over the place, so they need space as well. So moving it to downtown, accessible, creating a whole culture center, that's what we're trying to get at. Yeah, so our goal has always been to save these historic buildings. We're talking about the sisters are two historic buildings. The theater was historic. They've all were built in around 1916, 1917. They've had different histories, but they were all empty. And like I say, they were falling. That was our main thing. 38 seconds. Okay. Anyway, so talking about our community, this is our community. We're very isolated, but we have about 700 people. We don't have a lot of industry there. There's just agriculture. But soon there's going to be renewable energy coming in a big way. Excel's running their transmission lines through with the Pathways project. And there's at least 10 developers, solar, wind, and battery storage that's coming. And we have no workforce that's going to be able to help there, and there will be jobs. So we are kind of wanting to push this along and get it done so we can bring our people in to the library, use the spaces to train them. So I ran out of time. So I hope you have questions so we can explain it better.
We need to wrap up.
Okay, good. Okay, this is just a basic, really a quick plan of the two buildings together, which would create the library. It has also conference rooms, playrooms. It would just expand it by, I don't even know how big, probably 5 times, something like that.
Over double.
Oh, double. Okay. All right. I exaggerate. We are not asking for money right now for this kitchen that's drawn here. That's going to be a teaching kitchen. We want to get the guts done, the HVAC and all the guts done first, and then the kitchen will go in. And back there behind there, it doesn't really show, but there's a big area where we're talking about bringing in a community garden. There's so many people there want that now, healthy food, and we don't have that. I mean, we really don't have accessibility there. We have it down in the valley, which is a ways away, but up where we are, we don't have a lot of like healthy eating type things, nutrition classes, that type of thing. So that's future plans. But generally getting the library in there is our #1 goal right now. We really have a ton, we had 20 letters of support from homeschoolers and Sand Creek and the commissioners, the school is excited about it. So we have support from any player that you probably want to mention in the community. So I guess that's it. Is that it? Does anybody else have anything else to add? Okay.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Let's go to questions. Gigi.
Okay.
I know money, right?
Have you talked to the Daniels Fund and apply for any grants with them?
So this is Cindy. She's the economic development, but she also has been with the Crow Luther group and done our grants. So she can answer that.
The Daniels group is on our list to approach. The way I didn't bring that list with me. I'm not sure when their deadline is, but it was this particular DOLA Energy Impact Grant that the deadline came up first.
Okay. And then just for another idea, Monte Vista was successful with a grant with AT&T, and they're supplying us with 50 computers.
Yes,
And so we're working with the school district to get those into the hands that need them. But if you're creating a library
Yes.
type of educational system, it might be helpful.
absolutely. That's great.
And then so how many kids are in your school district?
So I used to be the principal of the high school, so. There's about 230 in Eads, and then there's a Plainview School, which is in the same county, just down the road east of us. There's also, we're really isolated out there. It's hard to even explain, but there's a Kit Carson community that does use our facility for they come to do the children's theater and that type of thing. So altogether, there's probably, they're all small numbers, 300, probably 350 at the most, with those others that use the area that would be here.
Well, that's quite a few with your population number that we have here.
It is, yes. So when you ask the school population, in my mind, I am adding, since the pandemic, we have about 40 homeschoolers. So, and they really need this. Like, they're really looking for some assistance.
They use the library heavily, the homeschool, I think the population does.
It's just,
And then
we would like to do groups and, have space to be able to do a lot of things.
And just real fast on a side note, didn't Eads have you guys made oil? I can't remember if it was.
Sunflower kernels.
Sunflower oil.
Sunflower.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Is that still active?
It is not. Although the idea was probably ours, but it got done in Lamar. And Lamar, it's Colorado Mills, right? Yeah, and it's very successful. Yeah, but it is in Lamar. Yeah, Lamar's about 40 miles to our south of us on 287.
Thank you.
Okay, Tim and then Chantal, they had something.
Thank you. You've been in the county library. Have they been housing you or have you been paying to be in?
They have been housing us. The county has housed the library since its existence in 1935. We've always been in the county building. So we have started that conversation with the county of, if we moved in here, can you help us with, utilities and stuff like that? We are funded by a mill levy since 1987. We've never increased it, so I like to say we're stuck in the 80s right now, but
in many ways.
that's okay. Yeah. We have left behind.
Exactly.
But the county is on board of helping support.
So you're researching how you would operate.
Yes.
On top of that, she did already, I guess the EBSCO with the libraries, and tell me if I'm wrong here, they're working on solar. And so if we do this infrastructure and we get this done into the future soon, obviously we'll use LED, but we'll look for solar, and EBSCO is funding some of those projects for libraries. So that would be a real possibility for us.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Or you can
So
insist.
go ahead.
Oh, Chantal, I think go ahead.
All right. Thanks. That was a good segue to my question. I was curious about, probably with a lot of the new construction and the historic renovation work, you're going to be seeing efficiencies with HVAC. And I was
Yes.
curious if you were going to be building ready for more renewable. And also wondering if Eads was going to be adopting, or have you already adopted 2021 building code, energy conservation code?
So I'm going to guess we haven't, obviously, but with all that development that's coming, and like I said, there's that I know of. So I run the newspaper there now. So I was principal, now I'm the newspaper version. So I talk to the county a lot, and currently they have 10 or 11 developers that are trying to come out into Kiowa County. And so obviously, so that's solar, renewable. And so obviously that county and the town are going to have to work together. And maybe you can answer more about this, but to go ahead and adopt some of that, we've got to do that as we move forward, obviously. Yeah.
Specifically to your question, the 3 municipalities in the county anyway, that's due July 1st,
Oh,
right?
see, so I should let her answer.
July.
Yes, so it will be,
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Angie, are you considering this to be part of the Main Street Live set aside? This project?
Would be a good candidate for sure.
Yeah, okay.
So is this the Main Street project that you had mentioned earlier?
No,
Oh, okay.
No, that's a whole different energy program.
Oh, okay.
there's a lot out there.
There are,
There's a lot of things called Main Street work right now
yes.
with various agencies.
Okay, we can talk about that internally. You know, for us, it's different pots of money, but it's the same pot of money.
And that's mixed. That's the-
Yeah, coming.
Andy, did you have something?
Yeah, you have a readiness score of 15 and you have some pending grants and tax credits and you're talking about other fundraising. So I was just curious about the status of that, the State Historical Fund grant, the tax credits. And it
Yeah.
sounds like you've got the opportunity to keep pushing forward, maybe regardless of what happens with all those different
Right.
funding sources.
Yeah, we did not get the State Historical Fund grant on the first time. We were actually sitting out on the patio. Some of you probably saw us out there reading. We got some feedback on that. I think the main thing was, we didn't have the plans all in place, you know, from our architect, and we don't yet, but it's really close because we had worked on it before the pandemic, but obviously some things are going to change. So that was, where our score went down. Otherwise, they really like the community involvement and, you know, what it can do for our downtown and our whole county, really. So, yeah. But I will say, you know, across the, I have hope because across the street, this whole, if you remember that map from Google, across the street where Sand Creek is and there's a senior center, that all was done, Dola did it, like, what was his name? The Dola guy. Oh, yeah, Lee, yeah, Lee, sorry. Lee Merkel just finally got tired of us, I think, of them, not me. He helped us some, but over there, they bothered. And he finally just said, let's just do it. And now it is amazing what's over there. That senior center, we used it for our theater kids. There were like 50 kids that were over there practicing their lines and doing a bunch of stuff. It's an event center that the senior population has risen, that go there has risen. Something's going on every day there. And Sand Creek finally is open after the pandemic. And those are the archives and the educational place for the actual site that's just outside of town. So you guys have done a great job with that area right now because all those buildings were empty. They were all falling down. So we're just trying to get there too. And I think, yeah, we have a whole list of funders that we're looking at, and we will go, if we can get this big chunk of it, I think we can get it going finally.
Thanks.
And we have paid mostly for the architect, so that's a lot of it.
Okay, anything else? Just a quick question, because Andy's question kind of sparked another question in my mind. So is your match then not committed? Your match on the application is $559,000.
You want to talk about that, or is the match not? Okay. So when we didn't get the historic fund grants, and that was $250 is what we were going for there. So Crow Luther did get a Gates grant, and we're bringing that in. It's $50,000. And so we currently are short, and that was after we applied here. So you could add that on there. We currently would be short basically $200,000 for the whole thing right now. So we have a series of, I've got a list here of, like you guys suggested, grantors, about 10 of them that we will go after. We're going to try. We've got the dates, and we're going to go after them.
So
But
you're still working on it?
we're working on getting that final bit done. But you know, for the big bulk of the project, if we don't get this, we got, you know, it's just dribble along, and we just never
I
get
get it.
there.
I get it. It's like the cart before the horse. Or
Yes, exactly.
what comes first. So I
Right.
get it. Okay, I just wanted to be clear. About
Thank you
that.
very much.
Anything else?
Can I share one quick thing
Sure,
about
go
the
ahead.
library? We're doing our summer reading program right now, and we just reached 100 registrations, which is the highest number since the 90s. And 75 of those were there yesterday. So
Oh, Lord.
we have almost the whole elementary in Eads after the reading program.
And that's a tiny area. So they went out on the courthouse lawn, I'm guessing.
Wait till your pool's open. It's gonna
I
be
know.
like 200
Yes,
kids.
yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
That's awesome.
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Eads.
Thank you very for your much. time.
Okay. All right.